Welcome back to Technology Behind Business. A recent study shows that small to medium businesses view social media as the unknown, with more than 50% shying away from the sites. Despite these figures, the Optus Business Social Media Index indicated that more than 77% are planning to use social media to increase sales in the future. Well, joining us this week to discuss these issues, Colin Farbig, CEO of jumponit.com.au, Peter Strong, the Executive Director of COSBOA, and Jennie Bewes, Director of Social Media at Amnesia.
Thanks for that, Bridie. Now, Jennie, we'll start the panel off with you. If you can take us through what actually defines social media.
So social media is a business term that is used to generate interest from consumers for business results. But the difference between traditional media and social media is that you're joining a conversation in their space versus actually interrupting the conversation to generate awareness. So many social sites are groups of people with similar interests that they're having a conversation, and the art of social media is getting in there and joining in that conversation for results.
Now let's take a look at Facebook, and also we've got MySpace and a lot of sites like that starting to come up. Colin, how do they work with business purposes? How can they be used?
Well, Facebook especially has set up a special way that businesses can interact with their user base, which is a Facebook page. So any business can set up, go into Facebook very simply, click a button and set up their own page. And then what you can do is start inviting people, whether it's your customers or whether it's your suppliers or whoever, to join that page. And then once you've done that, you can then communicate with them through a post, a daily post every day.
And is that something that is being recognised as a business tool, or is it still seen just as a consumer tool for telling your friends what you're doing on the weekend?
That's a good question. I think the large businesses have all got on the bandwagon, so all the big FMCG companies, all the big brands around the world are doing it. Smaller companies, I think, are only slowly starting to do it. So you're starting to see a restaurant setting it up, telling their customers about it so their customers can join their page. So I think there's this huge opportunity still for small business to jump on and do that.
Peter, we might go across and talk to you about sites like LinkedIn. How can small businesses especially be using these types of sites that are purely created for business purposes to broaden their networks and also drive their marketing?
Well, as you said, LinkedIn is created for business networks and business people. So what it means is when we go on there, we know we're talking to other business people, and we don't feel obliged to join in the chatter about what's happening on the weekend or whatever, although we can say that. But we talk about what's happening in business and how are other people going with it. Just to gather information, I think LinkedIn's a very good source of gathering information. And then from there, having gathered the information, we start to offer our services to each other on what we do. Now, one of the great things about LinkedIn as well is I may have my network and they know my skills, they know what I can do and they know what I don't do. But if I see something that they need done that I can't do, I can put them onto somebody else who I know is good and I know is capable of doing the task. So the other good thing about LinkedIn is you normally can rely upon the network and you can rely upon the referrals that come through it.
So what about using it as a recruitment tool as well?
Well, yes, it works very well. I think Facebook and a few of the other ones work very well as well. To get out there and say, look, I'm looking for this and I'm looking for these sorts of skill and this sort of person. And a lot of business people know you're looking for attitude as well. You're looking for someone you can work with. They'll know you, they'll know your personality, they'll know what sort of people you like, and they'll find someone through that mechanism, which is very nice, which is a good way of doing it. But interestingly, on Facebook, I also have a bookshop, and a recruitment agency has used my bookshop page to put an ad out there which she knows will suit the sorts of friends that my page has. So it's interesting as well how it links into other areas.
And then there's also Twitter to throw into that mix as well. So Jennie, how do you see Twitter being used for businesses?
So I think all of the social sites, and the most important thing is to identify who your target consumers are and actually where are they in the social network space. So if you recognise that your consumers are in Twitter or the people that influence them are there, then it's definitely worth going in there. Now, a lot of companies in Australia are starting to use it as a relationship management and customer service type of capability, which is great. So it means that rather than having to pick up the phone and be on hold waiting to get through to speak to somebody in customer service, you can put a message out there on Twitter and the brands will look for that and then start responding. And that response means that it's visible to a far greater network of people that may actually be in a similar space. So you're answering a number of people's issues with just one post. And people also then feel the sense of a connection to the people behind the brand rather than just looking at a logo. So it becomes much more of a personal relationship management type of capability. Twitter is also used as well for being a bit of an RSS feed, a data feed around promotions that are going on. So, and it's very important to keep those quite distinct rather than trying to do everything in Twitter all at the same time. You need to make sure that, if you're going to do pricing and promotion, that you set it up very much as that channel and allow consumers to actually start following it if they're interested in it. So you need to put the control in the consumer's hand versus from a business sense.
And Colin, your site is quite unique for Australia, jumponit.com. Take us through it and how you decided to bring this to the Australian marketplace.
Jumponit.com is a daily deal site that relies on the social media aspect of people telling other people about great deals. We offer a great deal every day. And what we realised very early on is we have to find a way to get involved with the social media to get people to see our deals. So we set up a Facebook page called I Love Melbourne. We did one for different cities to match the markets that we were selling in. And we built up a whole group of people on Facebook. And they then started telling other people when they saw a great deal that we were posting on Facebook, they would then come back to our site, jump on it. So we sort of closed the loop there.
So it was only launched at the beginning of this year. Take us through the numbers of how many people you've actually been able to get interested in your site and your deals.
So we first started our Facebook groups because we thought that we were going to launch our deal site in about May, and we thought what we want to do is build up a little tribe that are interested in getting deals and interested in doing things in their city. So we set up the Facebook pages, and the first thing we did was just start posting interesting information about the city. We asked questions. By asking questions, other people who joined the page would give answers. So what is your favourite restaurant? And we'd have like 1,200 people giving, my favourite restaurant is such and such in Glebe or such and such in Darlinghurst, and other people would talk. When someone posts that onto Facebook, all their friends will see their comment. And suddenly a friend would see, oh, that's their favourite restaurant. Oh, that's interesting. What's that group? Then they join it. And so it sort of had this viral snowball effect.
Okay. So, Peter, I might go to you. How do you think it is, how important is it to actually incorporate social media into your marketing strategy these days?
Well, it's vital, and I know a lot of people are still confused about it, but it's vital. One of the things we like about the social media, it's a level playing field. For retailers out there in the real world, they're inhibited by a range of things, government planning, big business behaviour, etc., where it's a bit hard for big business at the moment to get onto Twitter and Facebook and those things and take it over because it's very obvious that they're trying to do that. So it still allows us as individuals, and that's all we are in business, to function with our personalities out there and grab a part of the market that you can't get out in the real world, the material world. And that's what I think is the very exciting thing about social media and the social networking. It's a level playing field, and it's up to us to use our skills and our abilities and our personality to take advantage of it.
So what's your take then on return on investment? A lot of the questions that we get back here is how do I measure it? And we've seen a bit of research out of Optus recently saying that there are a lot of small to medium businesses that are apprehensive of using social media because they don't know how to measure ROI.
Well, it's a good point. The other thing, of course, which come out of Optus is they're individuals out there, so they're not small businesses in the sense that they think like that they act like people, so they're a bit afraid of something new. And that's what we'll see, is it'll take off exponentially as people say, oh, right, now I understand this, I know how it works and how it functions and I can use it. But what they've got to do is go and try it, test it out, as you do with any new product, and then you start to make your judgment based on the results that suit you. So I understand what people are afraid about. They're afraid of putting money in or time in. to something they won't get a return out of. They've got to try it. They've got to try it first. They've got to put some time in and start making judgments on how it works, and that seems to be the best results for people.
Okay, Jenny, what's your view on return on investment with social media?
Yeah, so I think what we're starting to see is, or the key thing about this is about generating advocacy. So I'm a big fan, and our company is a big fan of Net Promoter Score, which actually measures advocacy of consumers. And the reason why we're big advocates of that is that London School of Economics has actually proven that there is a direct relationship between advocacy and your bottom line. And so it's very important to start looking at that. And social media is absolutely about generating advocacy.
What's your take on this, and also how important it is to incorporate this into a strategy?
I think it's pretty important for companies that are dealing with consumers. If you've got something that you can sell them quite easily online, or you can offer them easily online. We get, I reckon, about 18% of our revenues from Facebook, and it's directly attributable. We basically we track every person who clicks from Facebook through to our website, and then we can see if they buy. Which is, it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And that is, a very clear metric. We also get a lot of people referring other people on Facebook who then become subscribers to our website, and we can then track how many people of those people bought. So, I think it is quite a trackable and measurable thing, and I think for companies that can offer good deals, a lot of people, the information that I've read about Facebook is that if you have a Facebook page, you need to offer a deal on it. If you offer a deal on it to your consumers, it's easily trackable, and they tend to be looking for that. When they join your page, they want something special from you. They don't want you just to talk to them about general stuff. They want you to give them something special.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Peter, what do you think about that? Do you think you have to add a deal if you're going to put your site out?
Oh, I think, you need to put something there to make people want to come along and, as we said, come along and visit the site and take interest in it. The other thing which occurs to me just listening then was in the world of retail, because bricks and mortar retail is changing dramatically. The internet and social media is impacting upon how and where people buy. So a lot of the better, smaller retailers that I see are reinventing themselves using social media. So if they're putting coffee in their shop that they've never had before, or they're having a totally new product that they've never had before, or whatever it is that they're doing to reinvent their business, they're doing it through social media, not just through the front door, because people aren't walking in like they used to. They're using social media to actually make their business a destination for a new reason. And I think that's the other thing. For change management in business, social media is excellent to test the marketplace, to see what's going on, and then having discovered a product that's good is to promote it out there. So as the world changes because of technology, I think businesses will change as well, and the ones will change quicker will use social media.
That's a good point to leave it on there, Peter. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And Colin and Jenny, thanks for joining us today, and I'm sure we'll have more to talk about on this in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all for this week's edition of Technology Behind Business. You can watch the show again on our website at skynews.com.au. I'm Bridie Barry from the team here. Thanks for joining us.